I'm Amelie and welcome once again to my channel. Today I'm going to be watching Heaven Official's Blessing episodes 7, 8, and let's face it, probably also 9. Since I've started this show, I feel like I haven't been able to watch only 2 episodes, and I doubt very much today is going to be the exception. And also it works fine because the show has 12 episodes, so, you know, it's free. So that means that actually next week we'll be finishing this show, which I know there's a new season coming at some point. I know there is a teaser trailer, which I'm also planning to watch after I finish the season. But I'm really enjoying this show, so I'm definitely going to be sad when it's over. I know that I already know what I'm going to be doing next. After I finish this one, I'm going to start Scam Villain Self-Saving System. But I still feel sorry that I finished this one so quickly, but I couldn't help myself. It's just, I reached the point when I finish episode 2 and I just have to keep going. I don't know what it is about this show. I think maybe they just figure out where to put the, cliffhanger so they know just when I'm not going to be able to, wait until next week. I don't know. So anyway, I think it's very safe to say that I'm having a blast watching this show. And I also feel very happy because I think so far I've been understanding this show very well. I don't know if it's just that I am traumatized after watching other Chinese shows that make me very confused for a few episodes at the beginning, that I was expecting that maybe with this one, the same was going to happen. So, it didn't. I feel, or at least there is some confusion, but it's not as bad as, for example, if I compare it with, I can compare, I think the more appropriate comparison would probably be Modao Sushi, but obviously when I watched Modao Sushi, I had already watched The Untamed, so I already knew the story. But if I compare it with other, shows, like The Untamed or World of Honor, it definitely took a couple of episodes. Like, not that it took a couple of episodes to get me hooked, but it definitely took a couple of episodes until I realized what was happening. And even with shows like Eternal Love and Ashes to Love, I seriously spent like 20 episodes having no idea what was going on. So I'm doing very well with this one. Obviously, it's different because those type of live action shows have 30, 40, maybe even 50, 60 episodes. So that allows them to, get the viewers a little bit confused at the beginning. So eventually things are going to sort themselves out. This one, because the first season has 12, I imagine that they have to make it so as not to make it very confusing. I'm not sure. In any case, I was told in the comments in my last video that they told me that this story, or the original one in the novel, it takes place in 2 timelines. So in a way, it's similar to The Untamed. I think that you have like the past and then you have like the present of the story. And this is the present of the story. So there is a whole lot of things from the past that we have no idea. Well, not we. I assume that you already watched it, so you probably know. Me, I have no idea. I feel like we had been getting like hints about the past. So that's it. So I think definitely that helps understanding. And I also think that the present is pretty straightforward. I think in that sense, it's very different from The Untamed. The Untamed, the present is a mess. If you don't know anything about the past, you have no idea what's happening in the present. This one, I feel like it's manageable. I'm fine with it. And they also told me that the past was was a lot sadder. Like, there was a lot more angst in it. So, looking forward to that as well. The other reason why I think this show is probably easier to, understand, at least for someone who doesn't know anything about the story, I think it's the amount of characters that it has. Because I think it has only, I have my notes here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like at least 5 main characters, not counting, I don't know, like General Pei and General Pei Jr. and the woman and some of the gods that we have seen. Like, I feel like the characters that had more screen time, it had been those, and there are fairly few of them. I don't remember all of their names. I know 3 names in this story, which is, progress compared to what I knew from the previous episodes. So I know Xilian, I know Hua Cheng, and I know Ling Wen. Everybody else is that person. Obviously, I had them written here, but I wouldn't be able, without my notes, I wouldn't be able to name them. So I think that definitely helps a lot when it comes to the story, maybe introducing a few characters. But I imagine that there's a lot more characters to be introduced. So I think maybe the moment we start to go into the past, that's the moment when I'm going to start to get confused. So be prepared for that. Be prepared, because I'm very easily confused. So before we start with a reaction, I want to do a sort of summary of the previous episodes, just so I can sort of refresh them into my mind, because otherwise I feel like going a week between episodes doesn't help. And I think that's maybe something that I'm going to do from my other videos as well, because I, honest to God, sometimes I just start the episode and it's like, I have no idea what's happening. That is not good. This thing about watching an episode a week, that doesn't help. So this is my way to help myself with that. Just a short summary, although short is relative. I think everybody who has been in my channel for a while knows that whenever I said this is going to be short, it's probably going to be half an hour. But if you want to skip it, if you are not interested in me talking about the previous episodes, you can just skip. I don't know where. Maybe if I remember, I'll put the time in the video somewhere. But if not, just, move forward until the video starts. But let's go talk about episodes episodes 4, 6, and 7. How did I count? My God. Oh God. Sometimes I know that I'm tired because I've just arrived from work. So it's, my brain is already fried, but my God, not even counting, not even, I think I already said that I'm terrible at math, but that is not even math, that is counting. Anyway, let's talk about episodes 4, 5, and 6. So let me think about what happened in this episode. So in episode 4, I remember that Xilian figuring out that this ghost bridegroom that had been kidnapping the brides, it turns out that it's actually a woman. And he makes the connection with the god that the temple belongs to, because that temple was actually the only one around there, because all of the other temples from that god, they have been all burned. So he makes the connection between that woman and that god, and he says maybe there's a history there. So he asked Ling Wen, what's the story between these guys? And it turns out that this god, whose name is, I feel that he has more than one name, but I only remember one, which is General Pei Sr. So this guy, General Pei, apparently he had a little bit of an affair with this woman, and things didn't go great. So I think Xilian assumes that it's because he hurt the woman, because the woman had some problem with her legs. I'm not sure what's the problem, but she had difficulty walking. So he assumes that this is something that he did. So we are dealing with this woman. We did a little bit of action. Some characters died, sadly. Some other characters also died, less sadly, but a lot more disgusting. Although I actually closed my eyes when it happened, so I don't know how exactly it happened, but it sounded disgusting. Anyway, in the middle of the fight, there is a huge ass light coming from the heaven. There is a bell sounding, and these guys appear, and it turns out that these guys had been sent by General Pei. But the guy that appeared is not General Pei. And the woman, the ghost bride, she was not happy because she has been doing all of this to get back to these men. And apparently the guy who appears is, I think he looks very much like General Pei, and his name is General Page Jr. I don't think he's his son. I think he's a descendant of him, but I don't think he's his son. Correct me if I'm wrong. So this guy essentially captured her, and Shilian tells him, what are you going to do with her? And they said that they're going to put her under a mountain. Shilian says that is not a good idea because there is a lot of, resentment because of what General Pei did to her. And this guy says, whoa, wait a minute, what do you think he did? And Shilian is like, oh, didn't he, break his leg or something? It's like, no. She broke her legs herself. So there we got the whole story between this lady, who I'm going to call, Lady General, because I didn't write down her name, I'm so sorry, and General Pei. So apparently this woman, she had been a general, she was fighting a war against General Pei, and she gets captured. So she goes meet him, and I don't remember the conversation, but I think she tried to grab a sword and kill herself. But General Pei was very fast. Oh, believe me, he was very fast. Not only he grabbed her sword, but in the same movement, he also kissed her, which was a little bit shifty, but okay. So she's into it anyway, but that doesn't mean that you should go around kissing people like that. Anyway, they start having an affair, and they do a lot of things together. They ride horses, they play chess. I think it was chess. No, it's that other game. I think it's Chinese chess, or I think it's called Go, the one with the black and the white pieces, I think. Anyway, they're playing, so they're having a blast, they're having a great time. The problem is that General Pei thinks that this is a casual relationship, because he doesn't do, monogamy and, relationship that lasts a long time. That's not his thing. I'm not sure if this had been established at the beginning. I don't know if she knows that this was a casual relationship. But anyway, she ends up falling in love with him for real. And, with guys like General Pei, whenever that happens, that's the moment it's like, oh, no, sweetie. So I would say this in favor of this guy. At least he was honest in telling him, it was only casual, and that's it. So she took this news as well as you can imagine, which isn't great. So she's desperate. She tries to get him back, and she ends up offering to him like the battle strategies from her side of the war. So, for her own country. And she tells him, you should win the war. And when you win the war, just, come and get me. And he didn't say anything. And I think she took this for agreement. But the thing is that General Pei didn't like this. Actually, he lost a lot of respect for her. All of the respect that he had for her, she lost him because he didn't like this. I don't know, it was only just because she was willing to sell her own side just for this, or also because maybe she thought he needed this and he obviously didn't because he was a pretty good general. Anyway, he burns the battle plans or strategies and whatever that was and win the war anyway. But she finds out that he wins the war and she's captured again, I think. And she's pretty happy because she thinks that, that's mean that he's coming from me. No, he couldn't be less interested. Like, no. He's disgusted by this woman at this point. Well, I don't know if disgusted, but he's definitely very disappointed in this woman. And he tells her, I'm not interested in anything serious. So again, she gets very desperate and she grabs a sword and breaks her own legs. I think that's what happened. Something like that. She ended up breaking her own legs and she thinks, now he's going to come and take care of me. And to be fair, it was nice of General Pei to actually send someone to care for her. Although he was a little bit of a dick, but I guess it's fine that he sent someone. The woman was not happy, so she ended up killing herself because he was definitely not paying attention to her. And then we end up with, obviously, a very resentful ghost who's still trying to get General Pei's attention. So now she thinks he's got it, but instead of appearing himself, it sends this, General Pei Jr. lackey that just takes her away. So again, they have this plan. They're going to put her under a mountain as soon as they find the appropriate mountain, I guess, because not every mountain is appropriate for jailing a ghost. So Shilian still thinks that it's probably not a good idea, but okay, he's letting this go. Anyway, when we had this whole fight, the girl who had helped Shilian before, she dies. She dies helping Shilian. And there is this bandage boy that, she had been helping, and she tells him, oh, now you have to get your own food because I won't be able to give it. This is all when she's dying. And Shilian tells her, don't worry, I'm going to look after him. So they bury the girl, they do a very nice tombstone. Well, not a tombstone, whatever burial site tradition that they have. And, Shilian noticed that this boy has like blood in his bandages or like he's hurt. And he tells him, wait a minute, take those bandages off. Let me see what's going on. So the boy takes them off and, oh boy, there is a reaction. Shilian is shocked by what he sees. He essentially sees the marks of a disease that is called, I believe, the human face disease, I think. And this is a disease that he had seen before in the past, but he had thought it had disappeared. And it's a disease that had affected the kingdom that, where he lived, where he was alive, I think. But that had been hundreds of years. So he doesn't understand how this boy can have those marks, because either the boy had the disease hundreds of years ago and he's still alive, or the disease is back and he had it recently. So evidently there is some juicy backstory for this, but we don't get any, because the boy runs away and Shilian is back in heaven. He tells Ling Wen, look, this is what I found. Maybe find the boy. Ling Wen tells him, yeah, all right, I find him. Anyway, the other little bit of, little morsel of information that we get in this episode, we find out who Butterfly Boy is. I am a huge fan of Butterfly Boy, so I'm very happy to finally find out about his identity. And his identity is the ghost Hua Chang. I think they say that he's a devastation. Apparently ghosts have different levels, and he's at the top of the ghost hierarchy, I guess. There are 4 ghosts that are called the devastations, or are there catastrophes? No, I think it's devastations. And apparently these are very powerful ghosts. They are very bloody. They are very violent, and they're capable of doing a lot of things. So that is who Hua Chang is. A lot of people told Shilian, maybe you should get away from this guy, don't get close to him, if you see him, don't interact with him, and all the type of thing that is pretty much guaranteeing that Shilian is going to be interested in Hua Chang, because that is pretty much the trope, right? Whenever you have two people that everybody say, no, stay away from him, they're going to go straight back together. So we know that Shilian is already interested. And also he's wondering, like, he's a devastation, he's such a powerful ghost, why did he help me? Why did he help him get to the temple? That doesn't make any sense for him. I feel like we, as the viewer, have some idea what's happening in Hua Chang's mind, at least when it comes to Shilian. And I think I have some idea why he was helping him, but it's only a theory. I'm not sure. Anyway, we find out a lot of shit that Hua Chang did, like beating 33 officials. He did a lot of things that definitely didn't make him very popular in heaven. But you can tell that Shilian is intrigued. So anyway, at the end of all this, Shilian goes to talk to Ling Wen. He finds out that his debt had been, it's over, that he had been paid. So now he asks him, like, what are you going to do now? Like, what are your plans? And Shilian tells him that he's going back to the human world. I think it's called the human world. He's going back to the human world, so he would be able to work, because apparently he doesn't have any followers and he doesn't have any temples, so that doesn't help him, because I think through prayers is how the gods get their power. And Shilian doesn't have any of that. So what he's going to do, he's going to go back down to Earth, and he's going to build himself a temple, and he's going to get himself some followers, which I love to see. I love how enterprising Shilian is. He's not afraid of putting on the work, and I admire him from that. So I think Ling Wen also tells him, if you see Hua Chang, maybe don't talk to him or something like that, but I don't remember. So anyway, Shilian goes back to the human world, and he gets probably what is the most disgusting, the most rundown and horrible place that he can find. for a temple, but also he got it for free, so I guess he can't complain. And he started working to, build a temple, to get some followers, and the way he does that is just by going around and asking people for garbage, apparently, or trash, so he can get money to fix the temple, and he can get things. He doesn't have a lot of good luck with the followers, because followers, the people are interested in following gods that can get them riches or marriage or some other wild things that some people may have been thinking when thinking about the gods. But Shilian tells her, what does your god do? Well, he can give you protection, and that's pretty much it. So people are not very interested. So he's just there trying to fix his house, not very successfully. I have the feeling that he's not very good at, the chores around the house, but he's trying, bless him. And he goes around, he collects trash, he's happy doing this. I feel like this is Shilian's best life, that he doesn't need a lot, he just needs this. Anyway, he had been, he spent a very hard day at work, getting donations from people, and he gets a cart to drive him to his own temple. And as he's in the cart, he's there, he's reading some papers and something like that, and suddenly we get the appearance of another character. Or is it another character? We'll see. We have this guy who appears, he's wearing red, he's very good looking, he's a young guy, and they get talking, and it turns out that this guy, although he's a perfectly normal human, apparently he knows a lot about gods and also demons. Well, not demons. I don't know. Are there demons in this universe? I don't know. But he knows a lot about ghosts. Not only about any ghost, he also knows a lot about Hua Chang for some reason. Who knows why? Who knows? So they get talking, and I think Shilian got a little bit suspicious because, to be fair, I don't know how common the knowledge of the different gods and the different ghosts and all of that, how normal it is for humans to know that. Maybe it is pretty normal, because maybe it's like a mythology that people knows. But I think that he definitely sees something a little bit suspicious about this guy, but they definitely hit it off. So they are in this car, they're having a great time, the beautiful, beautiful landscape. And suddenly it gets to be the night, and ghosts appear, because apparently it's like the night of the ghost or something like that. It's a night that the barrier between the ghost realm and the human realm is smaller, I guess. So at this point, some ghosts start to appear, and some of the ghosts, they just ignore them, but other ghosts that were wearing some, hoods, they're definitely very interested in causing some trouble. So Shilian realizes this, and he makes a spell in the cart, so the cart would be invincible. And he also, pretty much makes the driver of the cart sleep, because he realized this guy's not going to last the night otherwise. So long story short, it's me saying that phrase, my God. Anyway, they end up encountering this ghost anyway, and Shilian is trying to say, I can beat you, whatever, so don't get closer. I think he tells them that he's a Taoist priest or something like that. And the gods are not very receptive to this message, so they want to attack him anyway. I think they think that Shilian was going to kill them anyway. Although they're already dead, but I guess they could be more Veather. I don't know. Veather god. Anyway, they are going to attack, and they're actually literally attacking when Sang Lang, who is the name of I don't know if I mentioned this, he's the name of the good-looking young man who mysteriously appeared in the cart. He just turns his head, gives this random ghost one look, and the ghost just disappeared. Like, they just ran away. It's like, fuck this shit. I'm not messing with this. So I feel like this is the real clue that we have, that definitely there is something going on with this guy. And Shilian could see that. Like, it's like, oh, I didn't realize that I was that powerful. That's what Shilian says. And it's hilarious that, Sang Lang says, oh, thank God you were here. I would have, I don't know what I would have done without you. But I think Shilian did notice something going on with this young man. So as they continue their travel, he asks to see Sang Lang's hand to read his future, but it's actually a ploy so he would be able to examine his hand, because what he says is that the more like ghosts, they cannot imitate like the human body very well, so they made a lot of mistakes. But he sees his hand and he realized that it's fine, that it's a normal hand, it has everything that it has to do. So that it's either because Sang Lang is a human, which I think I already gave my opinion that's not the case, or that he's a very powerful ghost that is capable of, duplicating the human body. So I think we all know where this is going. Anyway, they reach the place of the man, they reach the temple, and Shilian asks Sang Lang what he's going to do now, and Sang Lang does something that he just said, oh, no, well, I guess I'm sleeping on the street, which what that's going to do. You're just looking to get invited. And he does. Shilian invites Sang Lang to go to the temple with him, where we find out that actually Shilian only has one bed in this temple. I'm surprised he even has that. You know what? Correction. That didn't even look like a bed. It was also dirty. There were holes in the wall. That place is a nightmare. So Sang Lang doesn't say anything, which I think very much means that he loves Shilian. And they lay down and they go to sleep. One of the things that they say, I believe they said this the night before, he tells him that the only thing that his temple is missing is a picture of the god that he, is dedicated to. And Shilian tells him, oh, I paint one later. And Sang Lang says, oh, don't worry, I'll paint one for you, which is weird for Shilian, because it's like, you are so young, how do you know what he looks like? It's like, well, I'm pretty good at things, so don't worry, you will get your picture. And the next day, Shilian wakes up and there is a picture painted. And not only just a picture, but the picture looks exactly like he looked when he was human, like he was the human prince, and when he saved the boy from falling. So I feel like things are getting connected. Obviously, let me just tell you, this guy is Hua Chang. To me, there's no doubt in my mind that this guy is Hua Chang. They're wearing the same color. That's pretty much it. And he's pretty suspicious. They also hinted several times that he's pretty powerful. So not only that, but he also painted because I already have the theory that the boy who fell down is actually Hua Chang when he was younger, or when he was human, I guess, when he was alive, actually. So I feel like we're still getting that connection. Like he painted him like that, because that's maybe when he met him. I don't know. That's my theory. Anyway, he goes outside and he sees that Hua Chang is Hua Chang. Well, we know that it's Hua Chang, but I'm going to continue calling him Sang Lang. Sang Lang is there with, a broom. He's sweeping the dirt road for some reason. And they get talking, Shilian is very happy and all of that. And I don't remember what's the order of events, so I'm going to say what I think is the order, but I'm not sure if this one. So he tells Sang Lang that he's going to do his hair, because, oh, your hair is all messy, let me help you. But this was actually another ploy, just so Shilian could check his hair, because that is another thing that ghosts can duplicate. And I think Sang Lang realized that he's doing this and he's trolling him a little bit. Because Shilian takes a long time examining. He's like, oh, what are you doing? Or something like that. So Shilian tries to hurry up and does in Hua Chang what I can only describe as probably one of the worst hairdos that I've ever seen. He has a side ponytail like, I don't know, Jojo Siwa. I don't know. It's indescribable. And he's a nice looking man, but that hair, and let's face it, he doesn't even care because Shilian did it. So anyway, Shilian doesn't find anything, which again, is a very, well, not a bad sign, but it means that if he is a ghost, if Sang Lang isn't who he says he is, he's definitely somebody who's very high on the hierarchy. So anyway, Sang Lang helps him do things around the house. He builds him a door, he cleans, he fixes all of the holes in the walls, he chops wood, he does everything. So I will kind of already tell that Sang-Lang is somebody who's very nice to keep around the house. And I think the episode ends when we got the driver from the cut from the previous night. He was pretty happy about Shilian saving him, so he told all his friends, even though Shilian told him not to. And now Shilian has a little group of followers. They are very happy to follow him because he helped them. And at the end of the episode, we have a group of people appearing with another man. They're carrying him. So I think he's, I don't know, dead, sick, attacked, wounded. I don't know. Maybe they said, but I don't remember. And that's pretty much what happened. And that was half an hour. Well, I'm not even surprised. Anyway, so that was what happened previously in Heaven Official's Blessing, episodes 4, 5, and 6. Okay, sorry if I sound different that I sounded a minute ago. It's just that I had a little bit of an issue. I was talking when my cat, who was hiding in a shelf that is above my head, decided to make an appearance by jumping directly on me. And I almost had a heart attack. I jumped out of my chair. I dropped the microphone. I dropped pretty much a lot of things that I had around me. So it took me a while to pick everything up, reset everything. I don't know if it's going to sound the same or different, or if the microphone is even working. Why am I always dropping the microphone? I don't know. It's just that's why I don't think, should I buy a microphone? No, because I'm going to break it right away. And this one isn't even mine. This is my brother's. Anyway, let's finally start watching this. I feel like I've been talking for like a day. So let's just go to the episode finally. Episode 7. Let's start right now.